Hello. Today we're going to be looking at dividing 1 and 2 digit numbers by 10. So here we've got our place value chart. And the place value chart tells us the value of every digit in a certain number. So I'm going to demonstrate with counters, and then I'm going to demonstrate with the digits directly underneath. So in the place value chart, I've only got 4 columns in this one, but it carries on stretching all the way along here. So next, if we were going this way, where my arrow is, so if we were going to the left, the next one would be hundreds, then thousands, then 10,000, then 100,000, then a million. Every time we go right, we're getting 10 times smaller. We're dividing by 10 every time. So here we've got tens. Then we get 10 times smaller to 1, tenths, hundredths, and then thousandths, and then tens of thousandths. It's really hard to say. But we're just going to concentrate on these 4 today: the tens, the ones, the tenths, and the hundredths. So we're going to be dividing by 10. So every time we want to divide a number by 10, we move everything one place to the right on our place value column. So I'm just going to write 5 here, because we've got 5 in the ones. I'm going to write 5 here. So first of all, I'm going to demonstrate moving these 5 counters to the right. So we're going to divide 5. Let me write the calculation. So we're going to do 5 divided by 10. So if we're dividing by 10, we're going to move everything one place value column to the right. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we've got 5 tenths. So what we do with this one is we will move this. Oops, I can't move it. Let's just rub it out. And let's make it reappear here. So we've now got 5 tenths. But our answer is not 0.5. Our answer would be 0.5. And we need the 0 there to tell us that there are no ones. This is what we call a place holder. Let's try another one. So now we've got 7 ones in our ones column. So our calculation is going to be 7 divided by 10. So I'm just going to write 7 underneath here. So first of all, let's move the counters. So we're going to move these 7 ones, and we're going to make them 10 times smaller by moving them into the tenths column. So now you can see we've got no ones and we've got 7 tenths. So what we'll do, we'll move the digit 7 over to here. So you can see we've got no ones, so we're going to write a 0 there to show that we've got no ones, and we've got 7 tenths, and you can see we've actually made our number. So 7 divided by 10 is 0.7. Let's look at dividing another single digit number by 10, and this time we're not going to use the counters. So this calculation is 4 divided by 10. So 4 means 4 ones. And we're going to divide by 10. So we're going to move one place value column to the right. So let's rub it out. Let's make it reappear one place value column to the right. So our digit 4 is now in the tenths column. What we need to remember is to put our placeholder in, our 0 here. So 4 divided by 10 is 0.4. Now, once you've practiced that, you might really get the hang of it, and you might be able to do it without a place value chart. For example, when we did 7 divided by 10, 7 divided by 10 equaled 0.7. Another one we did was 5 divided by 10, and that equaled 0.5. So maybe you start to notice patterns, and you can use that to help you today. Next, let's look at dividing a 2-digit number by 10. So here I've got a 2-digit number. I've got 1 10 and 3 ones. So 1 10 and 3 ones. I'm going to divide it by 10. So what I need to do, I need to move everything one place value column to the right. So let's move these 3 over here. And let's move this one over here. So my answer now is 1, because I've got 1 in the ones column, decimal point, and then I've got 3/10. So my answer is 1.3. Let's look at what that would have looked like if we'd have used numbers. So let's write 13 in. Let's divide it by 10. So we'll need to move the 3 here, and we'll need to move the 1 here. So the 1 would have moved here, and the 3 would have moved here. So 13 divided by 10 equals 1.3. Let's look at another 2-digit number and divide that by 10. So now I've created a new 2-digit number. Do you know what number I've created? We've got 4 10s, and we've got 6 ones. So I'm going to write 4 here. I'm going to write 6 here. We're going to divide it by 10. So what that means is we're going to make every digit 10 times less and split it into tenths. So let's start with the ones. Let's move then one place value column to the right. So our 6 ones now become 6/10. Let's just rub this 6 out and then move it over here. And now we need to move our 10s. So our 4 10s now become 4 ones. They've been made 10 times smaller. And let's just show that with the digit 4. Let's rub it out and let's move it over here. So 46 divided by 10 equals 4.6. Now, you might get to a point where you don't need to do this. Let's have a look. Let's do 23 divided by 10. So 23 divided by 10 equals, well, our 2 10s becomes 2 ones, and our 3 ones become 3/10. So the answer is 2.3. Let's think of another 2-digit number. Let's have the biggest even 2-digit number, which is 98. Let's do 98 divided by 10. So our 9 10s becomes 9 ones, and our 8 ones become 8/10. So 98 divided by 10 equals 9.8. So to recap, you are going to be dividing single-digit numbers and 2-digit numbers by 10. So when it's a single-digit number, you'll have no ones. When you're dividing a 2-digit number, you will have some ones and some tenths. Some of your calculations today might ask you to do the inverse, which means working backwards. So I've got an example here. So we've got a mystery number. When we divided that mystery number by 10, our answer was 0.2. So let's work backwards. So our answer was 0.2. And that was after we divided by 10. So now we need to go the opposite way. To find our answer, we then need to multiply by 10. So what we need to do is 0.2, and we need to multiply it by 10. So let's see what that answer is. Let's move these back the opposite way. So now we've got 2 ones. And then that 2 will be moved over here. Now, we could put a 0 there if we wanted to and say we've got no 10s, but we don't need to. So that's not a placeholder. That's just there for the sake of it. So our answer was 2. So that means that 2 divided by 10 is 0.2. And to double check, you can say the calculation back to yourself. So I'm going to leave you to it today, guys. There's challenge 1, 2, and 3. And I think challenge 2 is pretty tricky today. So my tip is remember that the equals sign means the same as. You'll need to know this for challenge 2 and challenge 3. So whatever is on this side must be the same as what is on this side. Remember, it's like a seesaw, and an equation must be balanced. So whatever you've got on this side of the equal sign must be exactly the same on this side. Good luck.